Hello everyone, welcome back to Pabbly. In today's video we're going to learn how to add Jumpseller customer details in Google Sheets. So here my objective is that as soon as I'm going to create a new customer in my Jumpseller account, automatically a record of that customer should be created in my Google Sheets. For that, what we are going to do is we are going to simply create an automation between Jumpseller and Google Sheets with the help of Pabbly Connect. Pabbly Connect runs on two concepts, that is trigger and action. In this process, my trigger application is going to be Jumpseller and my action application is going to be Google Sheets. So if you want to learn how to do this automation, let me take you all to my screen. In this video, we're going to learn how to add Jumpseller customer details in Google Sheets. My objective is that as soon as I'm going to add a new customer in my Jumpseller account, automatically the details of that same customer should be transferred into my Google Sheets. So for that, what we are going to do is we are going to simply create an automation between Jumpseller and Google Sheets with the help of Pabbly Connect. So on the screen, you can see the website of Pabbly Connect, that is pabbly.com/connect. After browsing this website, we need to sign in to our Pabbly Connect account. But if you're a new user, you can sign up for free and get 100 free tasks every month. So as I'm an existing user, I'm going to sign into my Pabbly Connect account. After signing in, you can see the All Pabbly Apps window in front of you, in which you can see the 5 applications of Pabbly, from which we are going to select Pabbly Connect by clicking on Access Now. Then Pabbly Connect's dashboard is going to appear in front of you. In order to start an automation process in Pabbly Connect, we need to create a workflow. For that, you click on this top right corner button right over here that says Create Workflow. Then a new dialog box is going to appear in front of you, which is asking for a workflow name. So for the workflow name, I'm going to give it as Add Jumpseller Customer Details in Google Sheets. So this is the name that I want to give to my workflow. Next, it is asking for us to select a folder. On the left side of my screen, you can see I've created multiple folders in my Pabbly Connect account, from which I'm going to select a specific folder in which I want to save this workflow in. How are we going to select that? For that, click on this drop down arrow. So these are the folders from which I'm going to select Jumpseller Automations as the folder I want to save this workflow in. After giving a name to our workflow and selecting the folder, we're going to click on Create in order to create a workflow. A workflow is created in the name of Add Jumpseller Customer Details in Google Sheets, and there are two windows in front of you. One says Trigger, another says Action. Trigger and Action are the two most important steps of our automation process because our process depends on these two concepts. Over here, Trigger says when this happens and Action says do this. That means our action is a response towards our trigger. In an automation process, there can be only one trigger step but multiple action steps. Firstly, what we're going to do is we're going to set up our trigger step by clicking on this arrow right over here. And for the trigger application over here, I'm going to select it as Jumpseller. So I'm going to select my trigger application as Jumpseller. And for the trigger event, I'm going to select it as New Customer Created. We are selecting our trigger application as Jumpseller and the trigger event as New Customer Created because whenever I'm going to add a new customer in my Jumpseller account, automatically and instantly Pabbly Connect should capture the response. Okay. After selecting the trigger application and the event, you can see a webhook URL is provided. With the help of this unique webhook URL, we are going to connect Jumpseller with Pabbly Connect. So firstly, I'm going to copy this URL from here. After copying the URL, the steps are given here below in the help desk to connect Jumpseller with Pabbly Connect with the help of this webhook URL. How are we going to connect Jumpseller with Pabbly Connect? For that, we have to open our Jumpseller account. So this is my Jumpseller account right over here, and from the options given on the left side of our screen, you can see under settings over here it says General. We're going to click on it. As soon as we go to click on General, there are multiple options provided from which we are going to select Notifications. As soon as you get to select notifications, over here it says webhooks, and now what we're going to do is over here under this webhooks over here it is asking for a webhook URL. So we are going to paste the webhook URL that Pabbly Connect has provided us. And as our objective is that whenever a new customer is created in our Jumpseller account, automatically then Pabbly Connect should capture the response. So from the event right over here, we are going to select it as Customer Created, and for the name of the webhook right over here, I'm going to give it as Google Sheets. So I'm going to give a name to my webhook as Google Sheets. So this is my name right over here. So after selecting the event, pasting the webhook URL and naming the webhook, we're going to click on Add right over here. As you can see right over here, the webhook is added successfully. The name of the webhook is Google Sheets. That's the webhook URL, and for the event as Customer Created. So this means that we successfully added a webhook right over here. So if I'm going to take you back to the workflow that I've created over here, you can see a response is captured. So this is a test response which tells us that the webhook is successfully added to our Jumpseller account. So now what we are going to do is we are going to recapture a webhook response right over here. I'm going to click on yes right over here. After that, over here you can see it is saying waiting for webhook response. response. So now what we are going to do is we are going to add a new customer in our Jumpseller account, and we're going to check whether Pabbly Connect captures the response of that new customer or not. For that, we are going to open our Jumpseller account. Over here from the left side of our screen, you can see there are multiple options from which we are going to select customers, and then we are going to click on all customers. So this is the page of all customers in my Jumpseller account, and over here you can see it says add customer. We're going to click on it. And now with the help of this page right over here, we're going to add a new customer to our Jumpseller account. Okay. Over here it is asking for the email, phone number, category name and the language. So for the email right over here, I'm going to write it as dummyuser12@pabblytuts.com. So this is the email that I want to write. Next it is asking for the phone number. So for the phone number, I'm going to type in a dummy mobile number. Okay. Next it is asking for the category name. I'm going to select the category name as tester right over here. You can create your own category and add a category name right over here. Over here it is asking for the language. So for the language, I'm going to select it as English. So after filling all the details, I'm going to click on save right over here. Over here it says the customer is successfully created. So after creating a customer, over here it is asking for the first name and last name. But if I'm going to take you back to the workflow that we have created, over here you can see a response is captured in our workflow with the details of the email and the phone number of a customer. But as over here it says the customer is successfully created, but the customer doesn't have the first name and the last name over here. So what we are going to do is we are going to update this customer with the first name and last name, and we are going to save the customer. And then what we are going to do is we are going to add another action step in this workflow right over here. So firstly, we're going to give a name to our customer. For the first name over here, I'm going to write it as dummy. Then for the last name over here, I'm going to write it as user12. Okay, so this is the first name and the last name of my customer. Now I'm going to save this customer right over here by click on save. So where it says the customer was successfully updated, that means we have successfully updated the customer with the first name and the last name as well. So as you can see, a customer is successfully added in our Jumpseller account, but in the response in our Pabbly Connect, we didn't receive the details of the first name and the last name of our customer. So what we are going to do is we are going to add an action step, and for the action application right over here, I'm going to select it as Jumpseller. And for the action event right over here, we are going to select it as retrieve customer by ID. Okay, so we are going to have the details of our customer with the first name and the last name with the help of this action event, that is retrieve customer by ID. Okay, then we're going to click on connect. In order to connect Jumpseller with Pabbly Connect, a new window is going to appear on which we have to click on add new connection. But if you have an existing connection, you can choose this option. After that, we're going to click on connect with Jumpseller. As soon as you could do that, you're going to successfully authorize Jumpseller with Pabbly Connect. Next, it is asking for the customer ID. We have received a customer ID in our previous response. So now what we're going to do is we are going to map the data for the customer ID. Mapping means inserting data from the previous step. So we are going to insert the data from the previous step. And how are we going to do that? For that, click on this field right over here. As soon as you're going to click on this field over here, it says Jumpseller new customer created. I'm going to click on this arrow, and you can see this was the same response that was captured in our previous step. Over here, as it is asking for the customer ID, and over here in the response you can see it says customer ID, we're going to map the data of the customer ID right over here. As I map the data right over here, what happens is the data has now become dynamic. That means whenever a new response is going to be captured in our previous step, automatically the data right over here in place of this mapped data is going to be updated. So after mapping the customer ID, we are going to click on save and send test request. As soon as you're going to click on save and send test request, a response is going to be received. Okay, and if I'm going to scroll down over here, you can see for the first name over here the data is dummy, and for the last name over here it says user12 with all the other details of the customers. So this means that we successfully got the details of our customer from our Jumpseller account. Okay, so now as we want that whenever a new customer is added to our Jumpseller account, automatically the details of that customer should be transferred in our Google Sheets that we have created. So for that, what we are going to do is we're going to add another action step by clicking on this plus button right over here. And for the action application, I'm going to select it as Google Sheets. So I'm going to select my action application as Google Sheets. And for the action event, I'm going to select it as add new row. And then we're going to click on connect. In order to connect Google Sheets with Pabbly Connect, a new window is going to appear on which we have to click on add new connection. But if you have an existing connection, you can choose this option. After that, we have to click on sign in with Google. Then a new window is going to appear which is asking for a permission. I'm going to click on allow as saved process, and my data is perfectly safe with Pabbly Connect. So I'm going to click on allow right over here. As you can see that we successfully authorized Google Sheets with Pabbly Connect. After authorizing over here, it is asking for us to select a spreadsheet. So I've created a spreadsheet in the name of Jumpseller customer details. And I want that whenever a new customer is added, automatically the details of the customer should be transferred under this spreadsheet. So what we're going to do is, for the spreadsheet, we're going to select it as Jumpseller customer details. Next, it is asking for us to select a sheet. So I've created a single sheet in the name of sheet 1. So in my workflow that I've created, I'm going to select it as sheet 1 right over here. Next, it is asking for the first name, last name, email and the phone number. So in my spreadsheet that I've created, I have created 4 fields in the name of first name, last name, email and the phone number. So these are the fields over here, as you can see right over here. And I want that whenever a new customer is created in our Jumpseller account, automatically the details of the customer should be transferred under these 4 fields. So what we are going to do is, in place of these fields right over here, we're going to map the data again. Click right over here, click on this arrow right over here, as we want the data for the first name of our customer. So I'm going to map the data of the first name right over here. Next, it is asking for the last name. So we're going to map the data for the last name right over here. Next, it is asking for the email. So I'm going to map the data for the email. And lastly, it is asking for the phone number. So firstly, I'm going to map the data for the prefix of the phone number and the phone number right over here. So as I've filled in all the details, after that, I'm going to click on save and send test request. As soon as I'm going to click on save and send test request, a response is going to be received, and the response that we have received is a positive response. So now I'm going to open my spreadsheet that I've created, and I'm going to check whether the data is successfully transferred into my spreadsheet or not. So I'm going to open my Google Sheets. And yes, as you can see right over here, the data is successfully transferred into my Google Sheets for the first name as dummy, last name as user12, email as dummyuser12@pabblytools.com, for the phone number dummy mobile number. So this means that we successfully connected Jumpseller with Google Sheets with the help of Pabbly Connect. But now for all of you guys, what I'm going to do is, I'm going to create another customer in my Jumpseller account, and I'm going to check whether the details of that customer is successfully added to my Google Sheets or not. For that, I'm going to open my Jumpseller account. I'm going to go back, and this is the page of my customers right over here in my Jumpseller account, and by clicking on this add customer, I'm going to add a new customer. It is asking for the email, phone number, category name and the language. I'm going to fill in all the details. As you can see that I've filled in all the details, I'm going to click on save right over here. Over here it says the customer was successfully created right over here. Now I'm going to add the details for the first name and last name right over here, and then we're going to update the customer. For the first name over here, I'm going to write it as test. For the last name over here, I'm going to write it as user123. After that, I'm going to click on save. As you can see over it says the customer is added successfully and updated successfully. For the first name as test, last name as user, for the email as test account 123@pabblytools.com, and for the phone number dummy mobile number. So now we're going to open our Google Sheets, and we're going to check whether the details of this customer right over here is successfully added to my Google Sheets or not. For that, I'm going to open my Google Sheets. And yes, as you can see right over here, the data is successfully transferred into my Google Sheets. For the first name as test, last name as user123, email as test account 123@pabblytools.com, and for the phone number, a dummy mobile number. So this means that we successfully connected Jumpseller with Google Sheets with the help of Pabbly Connect. So now to sum up till now what we have done, I wanted that whenever I'm going to create a new customer in my Jumpseller account, automatically the details of that customer should be transferred into my Google Sheets. For that, what I've done is I have created an automation between Jumpseller and Google Sheets with the help of Pabbly Connect, and this is how we create an automation between these two applications. So if you like this video, please do subscribe to our channel, hit on the like button, comment on below if you have any questions or doubts, and please share this video. Not just with these applications, you can create automation with the help of Pabbly Connect between multiple applications. If you have any doubts, you can send us email on support@pabbly.com. If you have any queries, you can ask your queries on forum.pabbly.com. If you have any queries regarding the pricing of Pabbly Connect, then you can check out this link. If you like this video, please subscribe to our channel, hit on the like button, comment down below if you have any questions and doubts, and please share this video, and thank you for watching.